Hey everyone, my name is Daniel, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can find and add those version numbers to your Copilot Studio agents. And here's why. Based on the feedback that you got, you went ahead and done updates into this Copilot Studio to build that perfect custom agent. However, you've also done a whole bunch of publishing. So how do you know that the version number you have of this agent matches what the end users are actually using? I mean, there is no way for you to find out what the version number is over here. In fact, it's not even easy to find out directly in the Copilot Studio. What I'm going to show you is where I actually found that version, how I was able to go ahead and apply that over here, and even showing you options where you can even put it directly in the conversation chat and maybe right over here in the subtitle. So stick around because this video quickly becomes very important, especially for you agent makers who've gone in and added multiple updates to that same agent. But first, here's my intro video. So recently, I built a custom agent similar to what you see over here and started pushing this out to our pilot test users. Now, I got feedback from these pilot users, which I went ahead and implemented in my Copilot Studio and started pushing it out. Quickly though, I started coming into this one problem where I was pushing this agent out so many times, I had no definitive way to identify, hey, were the end users or those pilot testers actually hitting the most up-to-date version? And I know some people always say that, hey, it does take a few hours for the agent to get published, especially when you've got other channels such as Microsoft 365 Copilot or in Teams. I completely get it. But there really is no definitive way for me to identify, is the agent that the end user is using the exact same one, which is the most up-to-date here in Copilot Studio. But finally, I was able to identify where to find that version number and put it directly in the conversation of my agent. And this is what I'm going to share with you in this video. So first, let me show you exactly where I first saw that version number. And it's right over here in the Copilot Studio. After you've gone ahead and done all your publishing, come over here to the channels. I went into my Microsoft 365 Copilot, and when I click on See Agents in Microsoft 365 Copilot, this window pops up. And voila, right over here, I see the version number. So currently for this agent, it is 1.0.10. And that .10, the last two digits, that actually shows me how many times I've gone in and done an update. Because the default has always been 1.0.0. In this case, I've actually done 10 different version updates. So that's why you see it ends with a .10. This is the first place I saw that, and I was really happy with it. But what I want to do now is actually take this version number and apply it somewhere in this conversation so that when users come over here and start to have this conversation, dialogue with my agent, I immediately know which version they are using it. So there's a few places I can actually do this. Two of them are very simple, but third one does require a little bit of additional work, but it also has some plus side to it. So let me show you all three of them. So first things first, where exactly is this version number being saved? And I'll tell you this, I went digging inside all of these Dataverse tables, peeling the different layers of these table onions, and finally I found out this one table, and even in one column, it was really hidden inside that. So let me show you that first, all right? So in my Copilot Studio, right over here where I have the agent, if you click on the ellipsis on the left, you go to Solutions. Because over here, I want you to go ahead and access the default solution because over there is all the tables. So you see over here called default solution, click on that, all right? And if you scroll down, you will see something called as tables. See, so right now in my environment over here, I see 534 tables. Now, depending on your situation and your environment, these numbers will fluctuate, which is completely fine. What I want you to do is click on that so you have all these tables listed over here. Go to the top right where there is search and specifically search for Copilot, right over here, Copilot. Now, if you're intrigued, this is the exact same table which used to be called as bots. Now it has been renamed to Copilot, obviously because we transitioned from PVA over here to Copilot Studio. All right, so click on this Copilot and you will see these columns come up. This is the place where there's a record of all the agents that have been created in this environment. It's very environment specific. So if you're interested, if I come back over here outside and if I just hover over here, you see all of these agents that are listed over here. These are the exact same ones that are listed in this table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on edit because I really want to expand this a little bit. And on the right, okay, we scroll to the right as we keep coming over here. Voila, this one, application manifest information. This is where I finally found that version number hidden. So let's just confirm, okay, I'm looking at the right agent. I'm coming over here and this is the one, demo Q&A. I'm going to select that way it highlights that row. I'm going to scroll all the way to the right. There you go, application manifest information. And now if I just hover over it, you see it says version 1.0.10. That's the exact same version that we see when we go ahead and do that publish. And once again, just to verify that, all right, if I come back over here, if I now go to my channels, if I select the Teams and Microsoft 365 Copilot, select it over here, grab that link, all right, see agent and Microsoft 365, I grab it, it opens up another tab, this pop-up window comes up, you see this version 1.0.10, that's the exact same version we see right over here in that manifest site. So when I found this, I was geeking out because first of all, I finally found out where that version number is being saved. So that itself solved that big problem. But the second problem I had to do is how am I going to now present this directly in the agent? And for that, I actually had a few ideas. So first, I was trying to go down the absolute no-code path to make this as easy as possible. And for them, I even came up with two solutions. So for the first one, now that I know what this version number is, I can actually update that directly over here in the subtitle. And you know what I'm talking about. There's a place we can do this. So let me show you. And right over here, where I came in through the channels and I clicked on this Teams and M365 Copilot, when you click on this edit details, click on this more and scroll down a little bit. You see this developer name? I have it over here as agent built by CFCS. What you see over here, that's the exact same thing you see over here. Now, the problem over here is that we only have a limit of up to 32 characters. So you gotta be very careful. So you can put in this pipe or this divider and then 1010, because this also is the same thing as the version 1.0.10. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna run out of room here really fast. So initially you can start off writing it this way with the version and then 1.0. and then you put in 10. But as the 10, but if you go ahead and have more text over here, you're gonna start eating up that 32 characters. So a tip I'm sharing with you is you can always save some characters by removing these digits and just adding that number. So this is at one place, all right? Because now that you go ahead and do this, I quickly click on save. The saving goes through. Next, I'll go ahead and do one more publish. So I'm just going to X out over here. I'll actually come back to the X over here. I'll come over here to the top, click on this publish, finish this publish. So it'll actually go ahead and get all of this publishing done. Once this is publishing is done, that actual version number also changes. So you got to be a little careful. So you got to think ahead. All right. I already went and put that version 10. Now that I'm hitting that version over here, that thing is going to become 11 over there. So you got to kind of play that off very well. Instead of me putting in 10, I should have actually put in 11. Then I should have done a publish. But you get the point. At least I'll show you how you can put the text over here. So we'll wait for the publishing to finish on this side. Go back to our channels. Click over here on the team side. Get that link from here. Opens up another tab. Right over here, that's the version, all right, 10.12. See, this is the version over here. We should have actually anticipated this version and put it directly on that site. But there, you see it over here. It's already showing in agent built by CFCS version 10. It's already showing it over here. So now when I click on this updating now, it's going ahead and giving me the most up-to-date link. opens up on this side, and voila, right over here, you get the version number directly when you go straight in to have that conversation. So this is that first way, absolute no code method. The only catch over here is you gotta be more proactive in deciding what that next version is. So I showed you this piece over here, all right? There is another second way where you can do it without absolute code. However, you are going to jeopardize something. And here's what I mean. You see in this option below over here, this is where you can go and give out up to 6 prompts. Now, what my plan is to go ahead and use one of these upfront to at least show what that version number is. And it's best that you do it right in the first one. And yeah, it's not the best idea because you want to use this for the most likely based ask questions. But if you don't like this one on the top over here, you can go ahead and use this prompt as well. Now, you may already know this, but just to make sure you and I are on the same page, let me show you that. I'm going to come back over here to the agent side. Let's go and close this over here. In the overview tab, when you scroll all the way to the bottom, you see suggested prompts. Go ahead and click on the pencil because you want to edit it. And now you can take the first one and move it all the way to the bottom. So the BYOD policy one, I'm going to grab that. The prompt itself, Control C, come over here, Control V. Now on the titles, you've got to make sure you add the title and the prompt, because if you don't put both of them, it automatically gets deleted. So it's not just the title and the prompt, which in my case, I'm going to actually say, version, and this is the 1.0. And I'm going to put that as, I believe, 12, it should be. Highlight that whole thing, do a Control C, tab, and I'll paste this one over here as well. And I'll go and click on save, all right? So now it is actually going and saving. It says processing request. I see it over here. And then next I go ahead and do is publish it. I'll go ahead and click on that publishing. The publishing will finish. We'll go to the channels, get that link, push it out, and we should be able to see this immediately in our M365 Copilot. Cool, publishing was completed. Let's go back to our channels over here. I'll select this Teams and M365 Copilot. Grab that link, opens up another tab. There's the version. I'm going to click on this update. Here's the number 13. It didn't push out that version over here, but you get the idea. That's the correct version over here. It didn't match it, but you get the idea. And there you go. You actually see it over here, right? So you see that version. Now, this is not my personal favorite because you're losing this prompt option over here because you only get 6, all right? So sacrificing one over here is a big deal. But what I was trying to say was you have this option as well. If you don't like the subtitle, you have this option. What's going to happen though is people are going to click on it and it'll show up over here. So not the best option, but hey, it's an option and I'm presenting it to you. So those are the first two no code ones. Now I'm going to deep dive on how you can actually go and embed this directly inside the agent, specifically when you're having that conversation. And that requires a little bit of code. So what I need is a way to come over here into this Copilot's Dataverse table, find my agent, and then go ahead and specifically grab 2 things. One is this application manifest info. But in addition, you also need to know what exactly is this bot ID. And there's a column called bot, and this is the ID over here. That is the actual bot name, which is unique. So what you have to do is come over here, and when you see that text below, hover over that, do a double click and do a Control C, and now we've actually gotten that as well. So this is the first thing you have to do is get that bot ID. Next, we go back into our Copilot Studio and we go and build an agentic flow. This is right over here in the agent flows. Now, the reason I went in the agent flow path and did not add it to the topic because it was a lot more easier over here. And I was able to go ahead and do the parsing that I needed to get this information. So I'll click on this guy over here. This is directly the agent flow that I'm building, right? And as you can see, it has run a few times. But let me actually go in the designer and walk you through that. So I'm clicking over here in the designer side. And the first thing I get is when an agent calls the flow. That is it. Like that's the first trigger, all right? So there's no input I'm giving over here because in this case, all I'm doing is going ahead and grabbing the information. Yeah. The next action that I have is this one of Dataverse to get a row by ID. And this was the big reason why I did it as a cloud flow, because this get a row by ID action, I could not find it on the topic side. There was another option over there, which was environment, which was based on the environment and the table. And when I went down that path, I started getting some errors and I was not able to troubleshoot that. So just to let you know, I did try that, and it's because I was not successful over here, I came back and tried it on the Cloudflow side, all right? So just want to let you know that. All right, so here is where I went ahead and grabbed that table called Copilots, the one that I just showed you, right? And this row ID, this is where you go ahead and paste that ID of the bot. And this is where it was a little confusing because I had no clue what this row ID was. However, when I went and hovered over it, this little message came out. It says, enter the row's globally unique identifier, the GUID. And through trial and error, I was able to identify that that GUID was actually the bot ID. It's not anything else. So I'm saving you all that heartache because now I've actually tried it and this one works. So I went and got this information, all right? After I did that, I get a whole bunch of data and I wanted to go ahead and parse that data. So this is how I went and did it. So I went ahead and used this action called parse JSON, and I went ahead and just pasted all of this information. Now I know what some of you are saying, Daniel, where the heck did you get this information? And there's an easy way. When you're going ahead and building this flow from scratch, all you need to do is add this trigger, add this action, and go ahead and run it, all right? Run it. Once you do, you will actually get all of this information, which you go ahead and copy it, then come and add the parse action, paste it in the schema, and you're good to go. What I just did also was after that, I went and added the compose because I had to add this little information over here. So if I hover it, you will see that it's the body of the parse JSON, which is right over here. And then after that, you need to go and add what's called as the teams and the version. And so this was the additional information that you need to know, and I'm showing it to you. Finally, that compose, I'm just going ahead and actually responding it back, and I call it as a version as a parameter, but this output that you see over here is the compose, the action right above. And there it is. Literally, all of it is just 5, a total of 4 actions, 1 trigger, and you are done. Because after this, I'm able to go ahead and now call that into multiple topics on the agent side. So let's switch gears now and go back into the agent, all right? So I'm going to come back over here into the agents, go into the demo piece over here because that's the agent that I was working on. And I was trying this in different places. So the first place I thought of doing it was in the conversation start, right over here. See, conversation start. I'm coming over here and I went ahead and added this action. This action is basically to go ahead and get the Copilot button. It's basically to trigger the flow. And when I go and added the action, it directly gave me a response. And that response which I got, I went and bumped it up to a global variable. You can leave it at a topic, you can bump it up to a global. That way, at least I can see it all across the agent. So now that I have this flow, you can go ahead and utilize this flow as many times as you want. And so in my case, I actually had multiple topics. So in each of the topics, I went ahead and added this information. Let me show you a quick and easy way to do that. All right, so my BYOD, this is a custom topic that I added. It's got its own trigger, and voila, over there, it's the exact same flow which I went ahead and added as an action. But below, I initially had something called as create generative answers. So for that, I simply clicked on this edit, and here in the bottom, there was this customize. That is the additional text that I wanted to add. Because what I wanted was, I wanted the generative answer to do all its magic and give me information about this BYOD option. But in the end, I also wanted to go and put this version. So therefore, I went ahead and added this little explanation. It says, end the answer providing this information. And I actually added text. I go open the brackets, I added V, and this one, which is actually just the same version over here, this output that we got from the flow. For that, you literally come and click on this insert variable. That's the version. See, topic.version, that's where I got it. So now if I just come on this side and actually just go and say BY, and I just go and type in BYOD, that is what will trigger this specific topic. You will actually see it's generating the plan. It'll directly come over here. I already got the checks. I got the checks over here. It'll go ahead and give me a answer, right? A detailed answer based on the generative answer. So it's giving me all this answer, but what's the end? Right over here. See, version 1.0.13. That is what I wanted. And so now I don't have to go ahead and find the version from the table and manually enter it. It automatically gets the most updated number and pastes it right at the bottom of the conversation. I mean, can you imagine how awesome this is? Because if somebody does contact your help desk department or you as the agent make a department and you're saying, hey, I am not seeing this new enhancement, the first question you ask them is, hey, at the bottom of every message is, what's that version number that you see? And if the version number is off, you know immediately that they haven't received the most up-to-date one. So what you see over here in this topic is the exact same thing I did for the other topics as well. For example, I come over here, there's another one called as the holidays in the United States. Same thing, went ahead and added the action, which is the flow that is triggering. And then in this generative actions node, when I go ahead and click on this properties, come down all the way, and voila, I went and gave it that little prompt in the answer providing this information with this version, and I put in the text. So this is one way to do it. Another enhancement you could do is have a dedicated topic just for that. And that's something I also tried. I came in here and I went and created a end topic right over here. See, end. And this is the place where after every topic is completed, you route it to this topic and it will go ahead and do this work as well. That is something you can try as well. That way, yes, this flow will run, but now you don't have to do it at each and every topic level. You have this one main topic and just make sure you route all the other topics to end over here. That's another nice, clean way to do it. So I went and made all these changes. I published it, come back over here to my M365 Copilot, and I'm going to ask the exact same one, the BYOD one. Go ahead and click on the enter here. It is going ahead and talking to the agent, getting all of the information. It is also going and running the flow to get the version. It's going to go and give me all this answer over here any second now. Answers are coming in. I'm going to go and scroll all the way to the bottom, and voila, that's where the version number comes in, right over here. Isn't this awesome? So my personal favorite is the last one that I showed you. Yes, there's a little bit of code involved, and yes, you have to build that agent flow, but it's a one and done deal. After this, you never have to go back and actually get the most updated version and manually type that in. Also, every single time you're having a conversation, at the bottom of every information that the agent gives you, there will be that version number. And this is the most easiest way to always confirm if the end users are always talking to the most up-to-date version. Hopefully, this video has been useful to you. You will go and apply that into your own agents. And as always, keep using Copilot Studio. Hey, if you have a few seconds, can you click on that like button and even consider subscribing it? Because it's just 2 easy clicks for you, but boy, it makes a big difference for me. Also, if you don't mind, can you put in a comment below? Because that really boosts this video up to reach a higher audience. And once again, thank you for watching this video.